wouldn't exactly say it was an addiction, but it's definitely a quest that I think most photographers or filmmakers are on, like a constant journey on how to store their gear. And I think we've all got multiple backpacks in that as we've gone on that search to try and find the right one that fits the thing that we're doing. And sometimes we end up with backpacks that do different jobs. So I've got backpacks that do one thing to do you know, with filming, and I've got backpacks that I use for photography, and essentially that's what led us to this. What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here. So here we are back. Eagle Eye viewers will know this is where I reviewed the Lowepro 450 Whistler BP AWII, and today we're looking at the ProTrekker 550 BP AWII, or the, is it the BP? Ah, it's the ProTrekker BP550 AWII. I always get the BPs mixed around with where the numbers are. Full disclosure, Lowepro sent this backpack out to me, although everything I say in it is my own. I've not been told to say anything, or they've not stipulated I actually have to say something in particular. So with that in mind, everything you hear from me here is basically what I think about it. So why the ProTrekker? Well, I've been looking for a new backpack, and essentially I had it's a big dog, well, not a big dog, it's a little dog with a big gob barking behind us over there. It's probably a Jack Russell. Yeah, so anyway, back on track. So yes, I've been looking for a backpack, thinking about getting a backpack. As I've just said previously before the intro, we're all on that sort of quest to find a backpack that's right for us. And essentially, they asked me if I wanted to review some products. I picked this backpack so that I could have a look and see whether or not it fit better than my all-time fave, which is the Lowepro Whistler 450. So what about this backpack? Shall we have a look at some of the details? Okay, so this backpack is their 550. It's a 40 litre backpack. It's 30 litres in the gear compartment and then 10 litres everywhere else. So it's split up around everywhere else, and it's got some really, really interesting features. I've used this backpack since July, mainly because ordinarily when I test gear, I only test, as you know, I only test gear from places I actually buy stuff from. So I wouldn't test it from some random firm. It's generally speaking got to be somewhere I'm going to buy something from. If I'm testing gear, you can pretty much test the lens, go out, take some photos. You can tell whether or not it's very good or not. If I'm testing a microphone stand or a microphone or a tripod or something like that, you can pretty much test it almost immediately and know whether it's any good or not. With a backpack, I feel like you've got to use it in a few different scenarios and over a protracted period of time to tell you whether or not it's actually any good or not, because sticking your stuff in once and altering the layout and stuff like that inside, you know, the dividers and stuff that you get inside to fit what you want it to fit, you may alter them for something else, as I do. I alter my dividers all the time because I'm fitting different things in and doing different things with it. So I feel like you need to do it over a bit longer period of time. So I've had this for about 4 months, and I'm pleased to say I quite like it. But let's go into some of the details. So it's made out of 73% recycled material. So for those of you who are environmentally conscious, as we all should be, it's really, really environmentally friendly. It's part of their green line, so it's got some really, really good features in terms of environmental impacts. It has PAL style webbing along the front here, along these bits here, and along the front and the front here, and there is you know, an ability to hang stuff or strap stuff to the front using these PAL styles loops. So if you've got things that you want to strap onto the front of it, you can tie things to the front of it and all that kind of good stuff. It's got their proprietary active zone thing on the back. So where you are, where your body meets it, it's keeping you cool, and it's nice and padded, and it's really, really cushioning, and it's essentially there for comfort and to ensure that you don't end up sweating like a dog carrying all the heavy gear that we normally carry about with us. The straps are really padded, they're very thick, very spongy, and they are comfortable, and they can be cinched up. They've got load lifters on as well, so that means you can tighten it up to your back or loosen it away from your back, effectively like what you would get in a backpack, i.e., you know, trekking backpack, something from Osprey or somebody like that. So it's got all those sort of features to it as well. It's got, while we're on the back, it's got a nice big chunky rubber carry handle, but then it's also got two other handles either side, so you can basically lift it up and carry it like this, or you can pick it up and carry it like that. It's got Velcro straps across the front here for you to be able to attach stuff to, or you'll be able to feed stuff through, and it's got loops to be able to hang things from, and it's also got an adjustable sternum strap which is on a runner, so that means you can get it to a place where it's comfortable for you, whether it's up here, or a bit further down. You can move it up and down a good, what, 6, maybe 8 inches. You've got about a movement of that in there effectively. Same on the other side, for the other side, the part of the sternum strap, it's got a mirror of those loops and all that kind of good stuff on that side. It's got a waist belt on here. This waist belt is removable, so you can just unvelcro it on the inside of here basically, and effectively just pull that waist belt out. It's got a big mesh pocket, much bigger than the pocket that I've got on the Whistler, which is good for things like batteries, lens filters and all that kind of stuff can all fit in there, which I have done. Put those in there, and again it's got some of that PALS webbing on this side, so for you to be able to hang stuff if you want to hang another pouch on all that kind of stuff. If we spin around to what would be, if you're looking at the back of somebody, it would be the left side. So you've got a stretchy pocket on this side here. You've got 3 loops effectively down here, which again you can use to attach stuff through, or you can thread something through there. And you've got these 2 adjustable belts, which are effectively great for hanging a monopod from, so you can run a monopod straight through. And it's got this really tough material at the bottom. It's just sort of like stop you from snagging things and getting rid of scratching the pack and all that kind of stuff. Again, the loops along this side as well, and effectively you can hang stuff straight down there if you want to. Spinning to the front, it's got 2 straps here which cinch up, and they've got these incredibly helpful little locks on them, so you can pull them out and you can click them in, and that stops this strap from working its way loose, which we all know they do eventually once you've cinched them up. Basically, if you're walking along, they effectively just start to loosen off. Well, that stops that from happening, and it's got them on the bottom load straps, and it's got them on these straps here as well. It's got sort of tie out points here for these straps, so you can keep these all nice and tidy and neat. If we spin to the bottom, you've got strap hangers here basically, and 2 big loops here which you can fit things through, so you can really sort of pack this pack out really well. And along the back here there's a hidden zip which contains a built-in rain cover, so it's got a full rain cover that fits over the whole top of this as well. I'll just show you that if I can get to it. Where's this? Where are you? Here you are. Okay, so there you are. So that's the rain cover. It pops out at the bottom there and sits nicely in that little bag. On the front here at the bottom there is another small little pocket, and that's an interesting feature. I quite like this. That's got a little pocket in it which runs all the way up to, say, probably here, where my hand is about where the pocket is, which is useful in itself for other stuff, but it's also got a flap on it, and when you pull that flap out, it's a pocket for you to thread a tripod straight through and then sit it into a tripod pocket. So that stops the tripod falling straight out the bottom, and it stops you having to fiddle about trying to get it to sort of attach, as it were, you know, by bungee cords and all that kind of stuff. So that's got a nice little pocket there, which is really useful, and it does have a little sign on it that tells you it's a tripod pocket as well. Then when you spin round to what would be the right hand side, if you're looking at the back of the pack, you've got a mirror of that spongy pocket here, which is sort of water bottle sized, which is really cool. And then you've got another pocket here which you can pull out, and you can see you can use that to fill stuff up. It's got another attachment loop inside, and it's also velcroed at this end to be able to be a little bit wider, so it's an extendable pocket. And the reason for that is that up here in this corner is a hydration bladder pipe unit here, so it's like a little pipe hole, so you can put a hydration bladder in there, zip it up, and you can pull the pipe out here and then attach it to one of these velcro things down here, run it through all these straps, and then you've got yourself a hydration bladder attached to the bag itself. So in terms of the outside, that's pretty much what there is on the outside, apart from, if I unclip this top pocket and pull it back, we've got this tab here which allows us to pull it open, and that gives us a full length pocket all the way down, and that's for a 15-inch laptop, tablet, etc, etc. It's magnetic closing, so it just clips closed, but it won't open unless you pull it across and then release it. So it'll go in, but it won't come back out again, which is really, really cool. Pals webbing on the top, again, so you can attach stuff to the top of it again, and Pals webbing on the inside of this little pack here as well, which allows you to do all those good stuff. I've got to say, this is also carry-on compliant, so if you're going abroad and you want to take it somewhere, you can carry this on with you onto the jet, and it's fine for that. It's also really, really tough wearing along the bottom and the sides all the way around, and that, I think, is just to give it some hard wearing look, and obviously you're putting it down in all sorts of different places, so it needs to be tough on the bottom. Okay, so inside, what we got inside, we've got a huge pocket inside, essentially, which is adjustable. There are loads of these orange things that come with it, and then there are these two really helpful sort of straps that you can strap stuff down with, and it also comes with pockets on the inside of this, so you get two memory card pockets, two small pockets, one medium-sized pocket, and a large pocket that comes all the way along the pack itself. What you also get with this, which is quite interesting, is you get this little pack here as well, which is really, really cool. That fits inside if you want it to. It's got a little carry handle on it, and it's got a little strap at the back as well. And you open it up, and it's padded, and it's full of elastic straps for you to be able to put things to places. It's got a strap with Velcro on it and all that kind of stuff. There's a pocket inside as well, a big sort of full length pocket which you can pack stuff into, and then it's got this portion at the bottom which has got adjustable parts in as well. I've used this for putting my drone in. I've got a Mini 3 Pro, so that fits in there just nicely along with the controller, and then I just chuck some batteries in the other side between the divider, and it just fits in just nice. So it stops you having to have multiple different bags for different things. It just slots straight in there like that, and then you've got your camera in there. In terms of inside and what you can store in there, you can get a 400mm lens attached to your body, attached inside there. It'll run all the way down depending on what configuration you've got, obviously, and effectively you're good to go, and it will shut no problem whatsoever. So one of the other features of this pack is that this piece of equipment here, this thing here, will come off entirely, and effectively what happens is you just unclip it at the back, and it's got a little bit of a strap going for it, and effectively you can then use this as a sort of walk around pack. You don't have to carry that. You can stick your camera in there and a lens and some bits and bobs, and you're good to go. And you've got like almost like a satchel, almost like a tiny little bag that will just carry the essentials that you need without having to have the full backpack wandering around with you. You can leave that somewhere and you can go from there. So, negatives. Have we got any negatives to this? Well, I mean, negatives. I think the two, they're not really negatives, they're probably just use case things, really. Firstly, it's a front opener, so you're always putting it down on the bit that you're touching. You're always sticking it down on the back where your body meets it, so I found I've had to be mindful of where I'm laying it down, because when I'm getting stuff out, if it's muddy or dirty or it's whatever, you know you're transferring that to your clothes, so that is a consideration. And it being able to, when it's full, it's not full, it's not got anything in it at the minute, but when it is full of stuff, maybe it's mine, and maybe it's the thinking about it now, I've just been talking about it, maybe it's the rain cover, but it does want to lean this way with all your gear in and sort of flop forward sometimes. But they're not really cons. I mean, that's just like being mindful of what you're doing with it and where you're putting it. It's sort of like it's not really a con. I mean, I'll say I've used it for 4 months and I haven't really found anything wrong with it. So I would say there probably isn't any cons to it, to be fair. The front opening thing has taken a little bit of getting used to, because all the Lowepro backpacks I've had have all been rear openers, so they've been opening at the back, and I sort of, in my head I'm like, well, if anybody's coming to nick my stuff, they've got to take it off me first before they can get into it. Whereas this, it's kind of like, you can open it and get your hand into it, although I suppose you're going to hear it because these are pretty chunky zips and they make quite a bit of noise. So I would say probably, there probably isn't any cons. It's probably just use case stuff is the reason why I'm trying to pick something out. I kind of feel like I've got to pick something because it can't be brilliant. It's got to have something, some negative somewhere, surely. And I think the two for me are, it's sometimes difficult to get it to stand up, and also when you're putting it down to use it, you're putting it down on the bit that your body meets rather than the front end bit. So given if it's wet and you've got the rain cover on, you've got to take the rain cover off entirely to get into it, etc, etc, etc. Whereas with a rear opening backpack, you just put it down and you open it up, and your rain cover's also keeping your backpack from being dirty. But other than that, I don't think there's much else really to sort of go over with this backpack. Would I buy it? Probably yeah, I would actually, yeah. I think it's very much, it's much more comfortable than I expected it to be when I put it on. Having used the Whistler, which is a nice backpack, I must admit, I was astounded at how comfortable this was, given the size, and also the size. The size is really, really good. There's not much you can't get in there, including mics, drones, big lenses, more than one lens, more than one camera, all the accoutrements that you need to have, like handles, backplates, batteries, etc, etc, etc. You've got to get all that in there, and this does an admirable job of that. It's a really, really, really good backpack. So I think the overall verdict for this would be, it's great. I'd definitely buy it. It's a good buy, and you probably wouldn't regret it. So with that, I will leave you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.